Welcome to my live. I like the fact that I have a like, even though there's no one yet. This is strange. But welcome to my live stream on YouTube. Today is Friday, the 7th of November. And for those who don't know me, I'm a therapist and coach, and I come here twice a week, every Wednesday and Friday, to spend some time with you guys and share some advice, some recommendations, some suggestions to do with mental health, therapy, psychology, human behavior, and anything to do with the mind and how we can enhance and elevate our quality of life from those places. And what I normally do, I spend a couple of hours here from 6 to 8. And so that's the plan. If there's no one asking me anything, then I will make it much shorter. But so far I've been doing it for a little while, and I tend to be able to pick up some people, movement, energy, and interest into the live stream as I go along to complete a couple of hours. And so let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is to read and comment on some of my own posts that I put on TikTok every day and here as well. And hopefully by the end of it, some of you would have mustered the courage, found the inspiration to ask me some questions about yourself. Okay, so let's get started. Anxiety is like a broken smoke alarm that keeps ringing even when there is no smoke. And so this is about explaining some aspect of anxiety. Anxiety is not something that we think. It's something that we feel because of some thought that are either or both subconscious and conscious. But it's like an energy that we have in our spine, in our body, that is always there, and basically it's there to remind us that we have been hurt in the past, and we may be hurt again. So we must stay ready for whatever may come our way. Next post goes like this: relationships never fail; they just end or evolve in different directions. Your expectations are what fail. And so again, another very important topic when it comes to relationship, and I like to talk about it a lot because we are being conditioned to believe that we must find happiness with our one special forever love, and because of that we create a lot of pressure and stress and disappointment, and we don't realize that we are in this life to meet people, to find out who we are as we go through our relationships. And so it's all part of the process. And the sad truth is that for the vast majority of us, we're not going to be in a relationship that lasts forever. And by forever, I mean literally until the end of our life. Because even if we meet someone with whom is doing very well, at some point, one of the two people will die before the other. And so even from that perspective, there will be a separation at some point. But even without getting there, most of us, we struggle to find the right person. Most relationships end up in divorce or people staying together whilst hating each other. And we must accept that relationships are about us exploring ourselves through our relationship, discovering people, finding out how we're going to behave, and what is going to tell us about our unhealed wounds. You want to practice loving people without attachment. And I know that it's a big topic. Most people will not understand what it is. But essentially what it is to appreciate that we're all in here in this adventure called life to explore who we are and what we're going to find out. And people are very important, but they're not as important as the experiences that we're going to share with them. What matters is the quality of the memories, the things that we're going to do together, and how we are going to grow out of each relationship, as opposed to putting our happiness on the person. If we do that, the moment that person is gone, so does our happiness. The next post goes like this: spend less time wanting more and more time needing less. So this is about gratitude, and it's realizing that it's okay to want more. We are human beings and we need to expand, so we can absolutely wish for more. However, If we can practice gratitude, we can realize that what we have now is already enough to give us some sort of comfort, happiness, contentment of some sort. And if anything, in order for us to create more, our best state is a state of gratitude. If we just focus on the more, now we're going to come from a place of lack, scarcity, despair, and it's a very different energy. And so far I've got two. Blazen, hi, and Hannah said hi. Hello, guys. So again, I'm just started. If you have any questions, anything you want to ask me, do hit me. Kay Steven, hello, Kay Stevens. Welcome to my live. So let me carry on with some other post until I see some comment. I will just do this. Hopefully, you will ask me something. Otherwise, I'm going to start to feel a little bit lonely. Next post goes like this: believing that rest is something you earn leads to burnout. And this is the idea that many of us, we believe that we are not enough, we don't deserve a holiday, we don't deserve a break, we don't deserve to slow down because we need to be productive, we need to finish that thing, we need to impress whoever. And really, if we believe that, we're going to doom ourselves to burn out. And this is the opposite of productive. So we want to find a pace that works for us. We want to realize that even if we want to be productive, one of the best investment of our time and energy is to make sure that we're able to be optimal within whatever we do. And so, again, yin and yang, we need to sometimes take actions and do, and some of the time we need to chill, rest, let go, and allow for things to happen. I spoke about an analogy, I think last time, I'm not sure, about the archer. And so basically, when an archer tries to hit a target with its bow and arrow, there are two things happening. First, they're going to aim at the target and tense their body. And that's focus. That's the action bit. But then they need to release the arrow. Otherwise, nothing's going to happen. But we are trying so hard to control everything all the time that for the vast majority of us, we don't realize that we are like that and nothing's happening because we are still holding onto that arrow. And so there's a time for focus, and there's a time to let go, to surrender, to allow for the universe to do its job and to make that thing happen. Next post. Healing is not about being positive all the time. It is about feeling safe and becoming more optimistic. So it's not about how we feel in this moment. It's about our attitude towards whatever life throws at us, whatever that may be. And finally, another post, hopefully the last one. If you don't like yourself, no matter how many people like you, will never be enough. And again, this is the idea of us being so obsessed with trying to fit in, to impress other people, to be a good citizen, a good person, a good son, or whatever we feel we should be in order to be enough and to have love. And in reality, it doesn't work like that. We want to learn how to love ourselves. And if we do that, everything becomes easier. We can start to attract the right people. And also, by loving ourselves, we're showing people how to treat us. It makes sense. Okay, can you discuss the topic of dignity? It's a thought I've been pondering on. Okay, let's talk about this. What do you mean by this? I need to understand your mind, which perspective you're coming from. At this point in time, just the word dignity doesn't evoke anything, I'm afraid. Could you ask me a question to do with dignity, please? Dignity, let me type and see if the definition inspires me. It's the state or quality of being worthy of honor or respect. Okay. So it's the sense of worth from the lenses of other people, right? A composed or serious manner or style. Dignity. It depends what you mean by this. It depends on what it means to you. Dignity is the right of a person to be valued and respected for their own sake and to be treated ethically. Okay, in this context, it is of significance in morality. So I'm not sure to say we all deserve to be dignified. I'm thinking about people who are coming to the end of their lives or people who are struggling. I need a context, please. I would love to talk about this, but I haven't got a clue what to say about the word dignity. What came into your mind to ask me that question? What was the original thought? If you can share that with me, please. Region reviews. We have a racist remark, and so I'm going to hide user on this channel. Bang. Done. For anyone who is going to troll me, bish bash bosh, death straight away. We don't want to waste time, we don't want to waste energy and focus. It is a place that I'm creating so people can feel safe to talk. And so there's a place and a time for everything. I appreciate humor a lot, but this is not the place and the time. And also, that comment was racist. That's terribly offensive. And so I don't take it personally. I understand the nature of the internet, but I need to make sure that I create a space where everyone who come to see me because they need my help are feeling good and safe about. So please, anyone in the background, if you're going to troll me, be kind. Do it somewhere else. Otherwise, I just have to get rid of you. Okay. I don't have any other questions. Again, Kay Stevens, if you can tell me about what you mean by dignity, that would be great. Let me read some more posts. Again, if I don't get any questions within 5 or 10 minutes, I will call it a day, and I'll come back some other time. It's no problem at all. But I'm here because I believe that I can help some people, but if no one needs my help, it's also okay. Okay, let's go. Another free post. First one. People who are obsessed with narcissists haven't heard from them yet. And so we have a lot of this happening all over social media. People are obsessed. How do you spot a narcissist? How do you hurt them, make them suffer? And it's just terrible because everyone is what they are because of whatever happened to them. And so, of course, we want to be safe from people who are going to take advantage or hurt us, take advantage of us or hurt us. But having said that, if we are leading a mission against them, it only says one thing. It means that we're still hurt. And we want some revenge, vengeance. That's it. And it's not just people who are obsessed with narcissists. People who are obsessed with PAEDOs, for instance. I can't say the word because otherwise I'm going to be banned. People who are obsessed with child abusers, if you understand what I mean. People who are obsessed with trans people, or people who are obsessed with foreigners. If we're obsessed with trying to scapegoat some people or some categories of people, regardless of whether they are good or bad, is because we live in a state of fear, anxiety, stress, trauma, and we need to have some sense of control and understanding of this life. And so we are going to be on a mission to demonize a group of people. So for some people it's narcissist, some people it's going to be trans people or foreigners, some people it's going to be PAADOs again, or gang groomings. And of course, those people, they exist in society, and we want to use the law to deal with them. But there's a difference between knowing that there are some people who are hurting others in society and being obsessed with it. I've been talking about it all the time, and on Facebook, on social media, reacting. So many people that I know, when I see their behavior on social media, tells me how they are hurt, how overwhelmed they are with life, and they have some beliefs that are negative to start with. But I believe that for us to hate a group of people and to need scapegoats, it really needs two things. First, a divisive belief. So the belief that we are better than others, that people who are good and some that are bad, we are the good ones, some others are bad. But also it needs to have the person to be overwhelmed by life, to be unhappy, to be angry, to have some sort of physical discomfort, or stress, pressure. If we put those two things together, now we have someone who lives in fear and needs some scapegoat to make sense of their life, of their reality. People are happy, they don't need that. But this is really one of the basics of the human condition, because if you look back a long, long time ago, people used to sacrifice their babies for the gods of harvest to rain on their crops. But it's the same thing. It was about having an illusion of control in this world. And so people who are obsessed with narcissists haven't heard from them yet. And it's not their fault, but we need to realize that, it's not what we need. if they realize that, then maybe they could focus more energy on healing themselves as opposed to trying to scapegoat people who never chose to be narcissist in the first place. I've got some comments. Let's see if there's something here. Kay Stevens, I worked most of my life with elderly folks and noticed that somewhere someone took that from them. It's hard to describe, but I think it has to do with respect and basic human decency. If people have lost their dignity, it's because they've been bitten by life, because their mindset and their heart set didn't allow them to develop some a positive attitude towards things. We will all go through all sort of things all throughout our life. We will all get older. We'll have to deal with all sort of things. But the way we deal with that is down to our mindset and our heart set. And it's absolutely possible, even if we have to have people to look after us, to clean us, to help us go to the toilet or any of those things, it's possible to not feel terrible about ourselves. We want to practice acceptance. We want to practice mindfulness. We want to practice gratitude and focus on the good stuff, and it's possible. It's not easy, but it's absolutely possible. And so many people lose their dignities because they believe that they have lost the most important things that made them worthy. And it's true that, you know, it's hard, but it's possible. There's not a single thing, a single thought that we cannot turn into a better thought through the practice of that skill, which is the skill of looking at the better side of things. Peter White, I went on a spiritual journey. Now I realize I'm waking up and I cannot go back the way I came. Of course, whatever that we go through, we are on a constant journey of expansion. Life is about evolution. It's about us discovering who we are and what is happening, and we will all evolve in some capacity. So not everyone will go on a spiritual journey. Not everyone will have emotional intelligence or self-awareness, but at our level, within our capacities, we will evolve in some ways. I truly believe that. And so whatever we go through, for some of us, we're experiencing such an acceleration into our awareness of reality, life, and ourselves in it, that we can't go back. And the example that I often give, it's the same example that I give with healing. Sometimes people ask me, is it possible to heal forever, or do we sometimes regress? And my answer is, if we have really addressed our limiting belief, we can never go back as far as that problem is concerned. Because we understand things, it's like we're expanding, elevating our awareness, and so we know more. We're never going to regress. The example that I give often is, let's say if I'm going to find some information and someone teaches me, you can check out on Google or ask AI, if I want to find out what is the capital of Uruguay or something like that, I can type it. Once I've done it, I will never go back to the old atlas because I know that this is much easier and better. And so in the very same way, when we expand our perspective of life, we can never shrink back to where we were. And if we do, it's because we haven't been there yet. We have just had an idea of it, and we haven't absorbed that awareness to the point that it has changed who we are. All the words are taken. Hello, hello, all Didi, hello. Peter White, I'm able to turn off thought now. It's such a superpower, amazing. Okay, good on you, good on you. If you can do this, it's not a bad thing, indeed. It's not the goal for everyone. For some of us, we will always have thoughts, but it's about the relationship that we have with our thoughts, and also being able to maybe focus on certain things so that we are not overwhelmed by too many thoughts at the same time. And the reason I'm saying this is because a lot of people believe that meditation is all about emptying our mind, and it's not like that. Not at all. But because of that, they're finding it difficult, and then they give up. But good on you, Peter, if you can turn off your thoughts and it makes you happy. TDZ55, of story of squeezing an orange and expecting anything but orange juice. Okay, I remember that story. How do we change negative reactions during times of stress? What self-care might help work to tree being love at all times. There's nothing that can be at all times. There's nothing in the world that can be forever, at all time, guaranteed for sure. Why? Because the nature of life and existence and the universe is that everything changes. It's the very fabric of it. We must accept it. Instead of trying to have things perfect forever at all time, instead we want to have some coping mechanism. We want to be flexible. We want to accept that sometime we have things that work for us and we're happy. We get love, we get luck, we get success. And some of the time we don't, and it's okay. How do we change negative reactions during times of stress? The reactions, we cannot change the negative reactions because reactions are subconscious. They are reactions. And so in the moment, the way we react to anything at all is going to be our program. We have created that program ourselves, and it's basically helping us navigate through our lives. And so we can't go against that program in the moment. What we can work on, however, is before and after that moment. So if you react, you want to be kind to yourself. I reacted, I don't like it, but I'm going to reset and come back to a place of mental clarity, and then I'm going to challenge that thought. Why did I react? What is the belief? What is my trigger? And then we can realize, I reacted because that person said that, and I believed that because they said that to me, it means that I am not enough. It means that they don't respect me. It means that no one ever sees me or hears me or those sort of things. And so we can challenge that thought. Then, when we're in a place of mental clarity, we can change the meaning of that thought. That person said that thing to me. Does it mean that they don't care about my feelings? Does it mean that they're trying to hurt my feelings? No. It could be all sorts of reasons. Maybe they're clumsy. Maybe they don't understand the words in the same way as I do. Maybe they are overwhelmed with their own problems. It's got nothing to do with me. They're just overwhelmed. There could be millions of reasons as to why people do anything at all. And so for us not to react anymore, we want to change the meaning of our thoughts related to that reaction. I hope it makes sense. And as we do this over time and repetition, it will become easier for us to create a space between us and our reaction when those situations happen again. But in the moment, we will react, and there's nothing we can do about it. Some people say, you must learn how to respond, not to react. It's not possible. What you want to do is to change the triggers, change the meanings, change the filters that get you to react. And this is what we do before and after those moments. I hope it makes sense. Does it? TDZ? What self-care might help work to truly being love at all times? So I hope that I was clear enough. To ask me again, if not. Michelle McGrath. Hi Didi, watching from Australia. Hello, Michelle from Australia. Thank you. I love the internet. I think it's amazing that I can speak to people from all over the world. It's brilliant. Mario Bro. Hi. Said hi. Hi twice. Hello, Mario Bro. As subbed. Fantastic. Thank you, Mario. Peter White. It makes peace. Okay. Pumpkin Puff, hi Didi, how are you doing today? I'm very well indeed, thank you for asking. I've been to the gym for the first time in a long time, and I just realized that I drank a lot of water, and I will need to go to the loo at some point. I know it's not ideal, but I'm just being honest, and this is what happens when you do a live stream. But at some point, because I've drank so much water, I will have to have a loo break, so I hope that you will be prepared for that if I disappear for 30 seconds. I'm very well indeed, thank you. I was finally able to go back to the gym. I had some problems with my foot, with my health lately, and sometimes shit happens and there's nothing we can do about it but to accept it and do our best to make do with whatever we have. And it's the best way to not only go through that period of not being able to do what we want to do, but also we heal quicker as opposed to being angry. Why is it happening to me? Oh, I hate this. Instead, you know what, it happens. I'm going to use my time. I'm going to invest my time to heal. Instead of thinking, oh, I should be doing this, I could be doing that instead. Just healing is a full-time job. It's something that requires time, attention, quality of mind. And so, yeah. So that's me trying to show you how in my own life I practice reframing things in under a more positive light. Thank you for the little hearts. Pumpkin Puff. Sounds like your toe is feeling better than if you were able to go to the gym. Yes, absolutely. For the first time I was able to walk yesterday. So I walked to the doctor. And today I was able to do some light stuff, light squats, light deadlift, light presses, stuff like that, just to give a pump. My body started to feel very fidgety. If we train a lot and we stop moving for like 1, 2, or 3 weeks, our body is very, very unhappy. And I could feel all that stress because I normally spend a lot of time getting rid of that stress through exercising. And so, yes, it's very important to realize that every day we have a build-up of stress as soon as we wake up. And so we must do things. It doesn't have to be strength training. This is what I do. It can be yoga, it can be a walk, it can be looking after a garden, it can be, I don't know, whatever that it is. But we must find ways to let go of that stress. Otherwise, we can start the day with in a position of being hypersensitive already. Because then we have to deal with the external stress of the world as well. So if we can start lighter, it's going to be easier. Astor Reinhardt, praise the Lord. I just realized one thing. So many people who say things like praise the Lord or Jesus loves you, I like to believe that they are Jehovah's Witnesses, isn't it? This is what they do. Are you a Jehovah's Witness, Astor? Because if you are, we can talk about this. There's a lot of things to be said about that. And again, I don't come from a place of malice, but it's really about understanding the mind and the reason as to why we behave in such ways. And so, yeah. Are you a Jehovah's Witness, Astor? Esha Saxena, Didi thought he was jail. Who? Talking about Astor? Didi? Ah, you're being funny about Puff Diddy. Ah, Esha, I'm going to get rid of you, I'm afraid. Hide user on this channel. Bang, that's it. So again, anyone who wants to troll me, don't waste your time. I'm just going to get rid of you. And it's just pointless. Let's move on. Venkata Karthik Baragani. I see some bad accident that's stuck on my mind. How can I get out of it? All right, okay, so you have witnessed something and you keep thinking about it. It depends. It depends how bad it is, as in how long has it been? Because it's normal for the mind to keep thinking about certain things if we have been in a state of shock, if we have been witnessing something that is very uncommon and very gruesome, our mind will react to that. And it takes some days for most of us to regulate and to be able to move on again. But if you've been thinking about it all day, all night, you can't sleep, and it's been a long time, now we can talk about it. Now it's not because of that event, it's because you had some unhealed wounds yourself, and that accident has reactivated those wounds within you. And so now you're all over the place because you are back into that place of not feeling safe. Is that the case, or is it very recent? Whenever we are going through some sort of shock, it is normal to go through some days of anxiety and stress and paranoia. Even things like, I remember a few years ago, my husband had his phone stolen in the street. So we have a lot of things happening in London. It happens. People in bicycle or motorcycle, and they grab the phone and they get away. And he was a victim once. He was on his phone and he went away. There was no harm done, but just the shock of having something important to you nicked when you least expected it kind of traumatized him. And for 3 days, whenever he went out, he felt unsafe. But eventually, after 3 days, back to normal. We get him a new phone, and then he started to talk on the phone again like everyone else anyway, and he's been lucky so far. And so it's normal to feel like that when something happens. But if you have been obsessed with that and it's been more than a week, we can talk about it. Is that the case? Yes or not? Please, Venkata. Pumpkin Puff. I have a question. What mindset do you wish more people had on a daily basis? I'm trying to work on my daily mindset and getting away from focusing on stress. And so mindset is how we think. So the way that I see it is that the world would be a better place if people had a compassion mindset. When we talk about a growth mindset is also very important, not only for when we want to achieve something, create success or something like that, but also as a human being. If we have a growth mindset, we are more open and we don't believe in restriction, division. We are more, it's easier to be compassionate with a growth mindset. When we see diversity, for instance, people are different. We can have a fixed mindset, as in some people are good, some people are bad, or a growth mindset. How can I learn from those people? We can be curious and want to learn from people who are different. And so a growth mindset will absolutely help us not only achieve the things we want to achieve, but also enjoy our life experience better. A lot of people ask things like, what is the purpose, the meaning of life? And it's really simple. If you have a growth mindset, you will understand that the meaning of life is to grow, is to develop, is to see what you can do of that existence based on whatever, regardless of whatever happened to you up to this point, whatever start you had in life. Growth mindset is teaching us that we are here to grow. And the way that I explain this is as such. We have two states. We can either be in a survival mode or a creation mode. That's it. And so from a biological perspective, we can be in a sympathetic state, fight, flight, freeze, protect. Or we can be in a parasympathetic state, chill, digest, rest, process information, grow, develop, regenerate new cells in your body, and all those things and more. And so too many people live in fear. Sadly, society, the belief they have, many beliefs that are passed on by our parents, by our community, by society at large, are negative. But on top of that, society is designed in such a way that for many of us, life is hard. A lot of pressure, a lot of stress, a lot of fears, a lot of worries. Some people hurt us, we have some trauma that are unheard. But also, a capitalist society forces us to behave in a certain way. We must be productive, we must pay the bills, we must do all those things, otherwise we can't make it. So it's very hard for people. And so if we have some limiting belief and we're overwhelmed physically, then that will create all those divisions and conflicts and problems in the world. Everything, I'm spending a lot of time thinking about those things nowadays, and I'm really working on finding a way to explain this in a concise way that can help people understand themselves and understand others, so that we stop reacting to one another and just perpetuating the worst aspect of the human condition. So yes, compassion mindset, growth mindset, that sort of mindset. But of course, our mindset is determined by our heart set. We don't choose our mindset. Our mindset is down to how we feel about ourselves, what sort of belief we had, whatever happened to us in childhood. And so if we don't have a mindset, or if you know someone who hasn't got a growth mindset, if someone has a victim mindset or a fixed mindset, we don't want to ridicule them. We don't want to mock them. It's not their fault. No one chooses that. We only know what we know. We don't know what we don't know. What we can do, however, is to teach them with kindness and see if we can get them to expand their mind. And if not, it's also okay. If someone has a very stubborn, narrow-minded, negative, toxic mindset, I just keep away from them. I accept this is how they are, but we're not on the same wavelength. I see that a lot. It happens a lot, especially on social media. I try to talk to people, and sometimes people take things personally and they start to attack me. And I'm reminded that we all live in a bubble, and everyone believes that their truth, their reality is the only truth. And so if we believe that people are bad, this is our truth. And I understand this because I used to suffer from this myself because of my because of the borderline personality disorder and the trauma and the CPTSD. I was super paranoid. And back then, it was my truth. That's all I ever knew then, and I couldn't see anything else. And so we want to recognize that some people are like that, and want to create a space and say, you know what, let's agree to disagree, bye now, and wish them the best. And focus on the people with whom we can talk, with people who speak the same language, who share the same reality. Thank you for your heart. Kay Stevens, thank you. I'd like to ask you about the use of the term mental harm done when a child was rewarded for their lying to avoid being held accountable out of an overactive fear response gone awry. Gosh, this is complicated. Let me try to break this down. It's a lot of thoughts, a lot of words. Let's try again. The use of the term mental harm done when a child was rewarded for their lying to avoid being held accountable out of an overactive fear response gone awry. So I think what you're trying to say, correct me if I'm wrong, is that some people in childhood lie to protect themselves. Many of us do. I did. And so the child is not, when a child is rewarded, it doesn't create any harm done. The harm comes from the child needing to lie to feel safe. If the child has to lie to feel safe, that child is already in a state of stress and pressure and possible trauma, because they need to behave in certain ways to protect themselves against the adults. They feel that if I don't lie, I'm not going to be loved, I'm not going to be seen, I'm not going to matter, and I can not survive without the support of my parents. And so I'd like to ask you about the use of the term mental harm done when a child was rewarded for lying. It's very confusing, but I hope that what I said made sense. Is that what you meant? When people lie, even adults, it's because when we lie as adults, and I used to lie an awful lot, it's because it's one of the way we use to regulate our nervous system, because back then as a child, it was one of the things that we had to do to feel safe, to be seen, to be loved, to be accepted, or just not to be hurt more, whatever it may be. And so the habits that we have, so that develops into that. But the mental harm is not because we are rewarding kids for lying. It's because they need to lie in the first place, because they don't feel safe. Is that what you meant, Kay Stevens? Pumpkin Puff. I appreciate your explanation and mindset. The world would be much more understanding and kind with growth and consideration mindset. Yes, the reason is why it's not like that is because we're still learning about those things. We're still conditioned with fear, division, us versus the others. And it's growing, it's getting better. There's still a lot of work to do, but if we look at new generations, millennials, Gen Z, they're more compassionate generations. They're better, they're kinder, they're more emotionally intelligent. Not all of them, but as a whole, as a general, because society is becoming kinder, right? It's not that they're born better than previous generations. We're the result of our upbringing and our environment. And so because the environment is getting better, there's more understanding of mental health, there are more people who are aware of kindness, compassion, forgiveness, understanding, and those things. Now the next generations are more able to be in touch with their own emotions, with their own shame, with their own repressed part, and change and do the work that the previous generations never knew how to, because no one knew. But thanks to that, I believe that the newer generations are becoming better and better, kinder, more compassionate. Of course, not all of them. Some of them are very nasty and toxic because of their parents, because of the environment, because of stress, because of the hatred they were born into. And again, it's not their fault. But I believe that the world is becoming kinder as a whole, more and more so every day. Kay Stevens, yes, how we think is so impressionable with another's attitude. How we think is, okay, I'm not sure I understand, but okay. Pumpkin Puff, I have been very aware recently that we are all vastly ignorant to a lot of things, but many people act like they understand everything when it's seemingly just ego. Yes. So when we are allowing for the ego to protect ourselves and experience cognitive dissonance, like sometimes we argue with some people and we're presenting them with all the facts, but they're ignoring it. They're not able to see it. They only see their fact. They're going to say, oh, this is wrong, this is fake news, where do you get information from? And that's because they're in a state of fear. So the ego now needs to really work harder. If we're in a state of fear, we need to protect. So we need to go, everything you say is not true, it's all like, it's going to prevent us to think clearly. People who are in those states, stress, anxiety, overwhelmed, if it's been for a long time, coupled with some limiting belief, are not going to be able to see things as anyone would see. They don't have access in this moment to their intelligence, to their brain, to their rational, critical thinking mind, because they are just overwhelmed. And so it's just about protecting, counter-attacking. And that explains why so many conversations online ends up in disaster. I had one lately, I very rarely do this, but I had one last night up till this morning, and someone kept on, I was trying to explain things, and they just attacked me, and they couldn't see the things that I would share with them, and it reminded me, we live in our bubble, and for some people it's just not possible. So I have to let go. So I said at some point, I'm sorry, we don't like that, but I'm going to stop doing this because it's unkind to you, and I'm reminded that there's no point, and I don't want. So I wish you the best. Let's agree to disagree. But they kept on going, and so the only thing I can do is to part from them, and hopefully they will calm down, and they will heal at some point. And sadly, a lot of these people are therapists. So that's how I can be confused, because there's a part of me that expects for therapists to have some understanding of their own mind, and they don't. Sadly, so many of my colleagues are still struggling with their own baggage, and because they're not ready to address their own problems, that's why they end up in that profession. There's a belief that if I help others, I may fix myself automatically just like that, and it doesn't work like that, because we are us and them are them, and yeah. Anyway, SP motivation. Hello, man. Hello, please reply. Hello, brother, please don't ignore. Hello, SP motivation. Sometimes I take time to get to the comments. I never ignore anyone, except if they're trolls, in which way I will mention the name and I will get rid of them. I will hide them from the channel. So they may be able to see it. It's okay. But they won't be able to, whatever comment they put is going to be invisible to all of us. So it's just as good. So yes, SP motivation, with a name like that, you must be very positive. Do you want to talk about something? You have any question? K. Stevens, mental harm, blaming another child for what they did to be the good one and the other to be the bad one in the parents' eyes. Mental harm to me is to harm another for stealing, for example. How do we harm someone for stealing? I still don't get it. I'm sorry. My brain doesn't compute with the way you phrase a sentence. I know you come from a good place, and I want to elucidate your words, but it's so very complicated to me. There's a lot of things, and let me try to synchronize with your mind. Mental harm, blaming another child for what they did to be the good one. Blaming them to be the good one, and the other to be the bad one in the parents' eyes. So basically, we have two children, and we're having them because the parents are going to prioritize one child over the other one. So what you mean? And so the child who is going to be the lesser one, like the black sheep, will suffer from that. Yes. A lot of people suffer from that. In dysfunctional families, they choose one to be the scapegoat of everyone. So that's the harm that I see from that. Mental harm to me is to harm another for stealing, for example. I don't get this. To harm someone for stealing physically? What do you mean? Gosh, is it me? Let's see. Hopefully there's going to be more clues as I go down the thread. Q Hero. Hi, how's everyone? Hello, Q Hero. I'm good. I don't know about everyone else. Mellow Monkey. Lots of love. Thank you, Mellow Monkey. Lots of love back at you. Tension, tell us about your mental struggles. Oh, all right. I used to have a very, I used to be a very different person. I had a lot of trauma. I had a lot of problems very young, very early in my life, and things get worse and worse. And so basically, I used to be bullied a lot when I was a kid because of racism, because I was overweight. And that really did a number of me. But also, my mom struggled with her own mental health. My dad was always absent. And my brother was going through the same. So he was also stressed out, and he would actually sometimes unleash his own frustration on me physically. And so I had basically no one on my side. My mom was, she was never diagnosed, but I believe that she's narcissistic and has borderline personality disorder and absolutely, some sort of PTSD. And so she was very, very overwhelmed by life, taking a lot of medications, losing it, and very controlling, very. So we clashed, and I had to leave home on and off. From the age of 12, I've experienced being homeless. So I would go in the street and we'd come back home, and then I go back again. And because of that, eventually I've met a lot of other people who were also struggling, and I ended up addicted to class A drugs and alcohol. And I suffered from that for 38 years of my life. So the suffering was the depression, was the anger, the rage, the obsession. And so basically, I have borderline personality disorder, bipolar disorder, ADHD, and CPTSD. And so because of that, my behavior was very different. I used to be a terrible human being, very, very toxic to anyone in my life, totally emotionally unstable, and creating drama and trying to control and manipulate and lie to people. And I was just desperate to be loved, and I was living in fear and anger and self-hatred because I would ruin a lot of relationship. I mean, every single one of them. And so because of that, um, I lived in a constant state of suffering, hatred, and rage. I hated people. I hated myself. I hated everything. I was a very, very, very different person. But as it happens, as I went through my journey, things started to get better. I was able to understand some things, and life gave me some opportunities to address my past, and I grabbed those opportunities, and I experienced a lot of aha moments, a lot of acceleration in my self-awareness, and then eventually I stopped the drugs and the alcohol. I reconciled with my mum, and I started to look after my body, training. I became a personal trainer. And eventually, I also realized that there was something called mindset. I was looking after athletes as a strength and conditioning coach. And so I learned about mindset, but I realized that mindset was bigger than sport performance. And so I started to apply it on other people. I opened my mindset coaching practice in the city of London in early 2017, but I was still missing an element. I was missing understanding human psychology. And so I did some course, and eventually I stumbled into Merazapia, and I learned how to hypnotize people, and that was the last element of all those years of suffering and learning about the human condition that gotten me to the ability to now help others, and I've been doing it for 8 years now. I'm very happy, I'm very healthy, except for my foot, but this is a chronic condition, so there you go. Yeah. That was my mental struggle. So now, anything that used to be a problem for me, the big triggers are gone. However, sometimes I may still have some moment of reactivity, but now I have systems. I can see it coming. I can reset very quickly, and this is basically what I teach people. Was it interesting? Tengen? Amanda Hugenkiss, hello. Itchy Goat said hi. Hello. Q Hero. I wanted to ask, what is your opinion on boundaries and power moves, manipulation, control tactics? I struggle with setting boundaries, protecting myself from others, vice versa. Thanks. Okay, so let me try to break this down. What is your opinion on boundaries and power moves? So if people are trying to manipulate or control us, we want to learn how to recognize those things, and setting boundaries can be difficult because the reason why we need to set boundaries is precisely because we never did that in the past. People who looked after us, they took advantage of us, they always gaslighted us, and because of that, there's a part of us that is terrified of saying no. There's a part of us that is terrified of just saying, my happiness matters. And so it's a skill I want to learn to develop. And the way that I talk about boundaries is as such always, is that setting boundaries doesn't mean telling someone that we don't like this. I don't like the way you talk to me. Setting boundaries is saying, I don't like the way you talk to me, and if you keep doing this, I will do that. So that's what a boundary is. And the next most important move is to apply the boundaries. So we talk a lot, but then if we don't apply it, it's worth nothing. If we set a boundary to someone who habitually cross our boundaries, they will push. They will not allow this to happen. Of course not. That's why we need to set a boundary. But it only works when we apply it. And so don't talk to me like that, otherwise I'm not going to see you for a week or for 2 hours or whatever, and then apply it. Make it happen, otherwise it's worth nothing. And as you do this, start small, but as you do this more and more, you're going to strengthen that muscle, reinforce that skill, develop that new habit, and it will become easier and easier for you to set boundaries. I hope it helps. Is it what you meant, Q Hero? Tangen, what are your qualifications? RTT therapist, and I'm a clinical hypnotherapist. Those are my qualifications. But the vast bulk of my knowledge is my life experience. Right? A lot of people are very academic and they have a lot of diplomas and they don't help anyone because it takes a lot of things for something to happen. And having experienced things and having a good reason to help people is what makes the difference. I come from a different place. I've been in those shoes, and also I know how to come out of it. And I do it because I wouldn't want anyone to suffer the way I did. And so all of those things make a huge difference. And all that I need is some understanding of the human mind that I have developed over 8 years of doing my job full time. I have to read and understand more about it because people need me. And so there's that. But now, the qualifications that I have are essentially me being a clinical hypnotherapist and an RTT therapist. That's it. And everything else is things that I have discovered through my development as a therapist, doing this over the years, and reading stuff and learning and applying those things with my clients on a daily basis. And so, yeah. Sasha, Nikki Perovics, hello. Said hi, Pumpkin Puff. Since we've been chatting, I've mentioned some things that you teach me to my family, and I either get wow, I totally agree, or defensive, like what you were talking about with other therapists. Okay, you get defensive, okay? So what do you disagree with? We can talk about it if you want. So what I was saying is that a lot of therapists don't look after themselves, and because maybe they're not ready. But here's the thing. They believe that if they help others, that will fix them. And I've never seen anyone for whom it has worked. I see so many of my colleagues that are still very damaged. And some of them teach things or address problems that they haven't resolved themselves in their own lives. An example that I can give is one of my colleagues who I'm not going to say, let me take another example because I don't want that person to realize what I'm talking about them if they watch or if they ever come across the video. So let's say some people may specialize in, very simple, some people may specialize in trauma, but they haven't healed their trauma yet. We can only help others to the level at which we've been able to help ourselves. And so there are always people who know less that we can help in some capacities. But if we meet people who need more than us, we won't be able to help them. And if they are putting themselves out as trauma specialists, for instance, within that example, then it's going to basically tell the client who didn't get a solution for the problem, gosh, I saw a specialist, the trauma didn't work. I'm really, really screwed up. So yeah, there's that. I think honesty is the best thing, and I know that it's not easy, but really is to accept, I can help you, and if I don't know, I will find out and look for ways to make it better. But it's very important to tell people that in reality, when it comes to therapy, nothing is guaranteed. The things that we know about the human mind that have been efficient have only been in the last 25 years. Before, even in the 1990s, there were still a lot of terrible things done in the name of whatever the specialist then knew or thought they knew about the mind. It was barbaric and more damaging than anything else. And so we're still learning. We're still, it's a very fresh. That's why when people ask me about my diploma, I need to really highlight that the main bulk of what makes a therapist a good therapist is their experience as a human being and their intention, and also their mindset. Because I have a growth mindset and because I have ADHD, I can obsess over things and I hyperfixate. I've been doing this for all my life, and that really helps me understand more quicker and better than many people who may not have that sort of brain. And also I'm very intuitive. But, you know, the proof is in the pudding. You know, I have a very high rate of success with my clients. So there's that as well. Amanda, I would like to know more about your tattoos. I've got a lot of them, so I don't know if... There's one thing that I can say that I haven't said maybe before. I started with some tattoos here and there in my early 20s, and then eventually I had more and more. But I used to have some scars on my forearms. I tried to unalive myself many times when I was younger, and I had some scars that were very, very, very visible. You can't see it here, but there's, we can see the, if you look at it, you can see the shape of it through the ink. And I had them on both arms. And for a long time, I had tattoos, but I didn't tattoo my forearms because I was carrying my scars like a badge of honor. There's a part of me that I wanted to show the world that I was hurt. Somehow, it was a part of my personality. But eventually, as I started to heal, I covered those. And now I forget about this. It's the first time that I've been thinking about it in years, in a long, long time. But because you're asking me this, and that's why I did that part of my body, because I was ready to move on to that new self. I didn't need the feeling sorry for myself anymore. I didn't need that anymore. So something about my tattoos. Sasha, I don't speak to my mother or father because of trauma and neglect. I've suffered through life with a relationship and become a workaholic and compulsive spender. Okay, I get it. You want to talk about it? Very often, indeed, people don't realize, but workaholism can be our way to keep ourselves distracted from our own mind and thoughts and bodily sensations and feelings. So we're distracting ourselves from ourselves because we don't like that self. We don't like the emotions that we have. We don't like the thoughts that we have. So we work because it's just as good as any other addiction to keep us away from being reminded of who we are. So essentially, if we live with shame, repressed shame and fear, and that is often the case if we've been traumatized in childhood. And compulsive spender is the same. It's an addiction. We create some little dopamine bombs in our mind, stuff, and that keeps us distracted from our own suffering. So we can talk about this if you want. Addiction is one of my strong specialisms, having been addicted to so many things for so many years myself. Pumpkin Puff. I like sharing information that positively affects me and helps me with my healing journey. But I understand that everyone has their own journey. Yeah. But talking about yourself and the things that you go through can inspire some people, right? But it's true that we all have a different journey. So we want to share what we know in the hope that it will land in the right ear at the right time and that may inspire them. But we don't want to change others because we are all on a different journey indeed. And the people who are close to us, we don't want to be changed. We want to be accepted. We want to be seen. We want to be loved. We try to change everyone all the time because we are projecting our own sense of inadequacy. I need to change myself, but we are ignoring this part because it's painful. So we can try to change others. And we end up hurting people like that out of good intention. We all want to help people, but we forget that most people who are struggling, they don't necessarily want to be helped. And this is what the advice that I give people. If you have a close one who suffers, there's the 3H questions. Ask them first. Do you want a hug? Do you want to be heard? Or do you want some help? In that order. And very often people will want a hug or to be heard, as opposed to be changed, to be helped, to be fixed. The more we do this, we don't realize this, but the more we do this, the more we are essentially telling them, I don't love you as you are. You're not good enough for me. You have to change. And it's terribly damaging. It creates resentment. And so instead, I'm here for you. I accept you as you are. You're right. However, if you want me to help at some point, just ask me. If not, we can stay together in silence, looking at the clouds, or doing whatever that we're doing. It's okay. Playing a video game. Pumpkin puff. But it's hard when people don't fully understand all that we actually had to go through and choose to judge instead of consider they could also need to heal. So the part of healing for you is to let go of what they think. This is your journey. So focus on you. It doesn't matter what people think. It's a part of your journey. It doesn't matter what people think or feel or do. Focus on yourself. You matter enough for you to focus on yourself. You don't need to prove, to justify, to explain. You don't need people to know. Just work on yourself, and the right people will ask you. The right people will see you. The right people will be with you and not judge you, right? But don't ask people who don't see it to see it. As you said, we're all on a different journey, right? Thank you for your heart. If you focus your mind in the right place, it's not hard anymore. It's hard because you have expectations, and those expectations are unmet, and so that's what makes it hard. But if you don't have expectations, you just focus on your journey and your growth, things are much easier. It doesn't have to be hard. Kay Stevens, my adopted brother, mental harm to me is when you get blamed by a sibling for the impulsive behavior. Mental health issues of irrational fear of the blamer projection onto another. Okay, let me try to understand. Your adopted brother, you get blamed by a sibling for the impulsive behavior. Okay, all right, okay. So basically, your sibling is telling you that they are hurt because of you, and that is harming you. Okay. Mental health of issues of irrational fears of the blamer projected onto another. Okay. So what I'm reading by that is that you are hurt and your brother is hurt and you're not able to communicate. And so at this point in time, you cannot help your brother and your brother cannot help you. You are too different. You have your baggage. You have a lifetime of resentment toward one another because of whatever happened to you in childhood and what happened to him as well. And so my advice would be for you to focus on yourself. Don't think that he's trying to hurt you. This is how it seems like, but really all that he's doing is to try to survive. And so are you. So just bear with me, please. My watch is telling me to post my third TikTok post of the day. I'm going to do this right here and now. Spend less time wanting more. More time. Just bear with me.
He will try to use our tax money on...
Okay, it's out. Thank you. Let's get back to it. So yes, okay, I don't know which is which, but it doesn't matter because when it comes to relationship, it's always people suffer because they have their own perception of reality based on what happened to them. And so I can see that your brother suffers, and that would make sense if he was adopted. But also you suffer because you believe that he's hurting you, and you have a relationship with him. And so we don't want to blame anyone. It may come across that he is trying to blame you. But how can I say it? If you can find a way to take it with a pinch of salt, it doesn't matter what my brother says. I don't know what is your relationship. If you love him, then have compassion for him. If you don't, create a space between you and him. Not all brothers are meant to get along. Sadly, a lot of families force themselves to be happy together, and it was never meant to happen because of X, Y, Z. And so, if your brother is harming you mentally, protect yourself, right? If you want to help your brother, then we can talk about this as well. But you may not be able to do this, not just yet. We all have our limitations, and especially when it comes to our closed ones, it's very, very hard to change them because we have established a lot of emotional, subconscious dynamics, and so we just used to behave in certain ways, and it's terribly challenging to address them. Some people may be able to do this. If people like me have been working many years of our own self and are into the mental health profession, now we have a better idea how to do this. But it's a lot of work, a lot of knowledge, a lot of perseverance, and yeah. And so that's why I'm saying very often we want to help others, but we may not be able to because we're still dealing with our own problems. So address your problems first. And again, it goes back to that quote that I'm always sharing from Ram Dass, and it goes like this: the only one thing that I can do for you is to work on myself. The only one thing that you can do for me is to work on yourself. Instead of trying to understand whose fault is it his fault, me, just work on your stuff. And so, do you want to tell me more about this, Kay? Your brother is harming you because he's making you feel bad for his own impulsive behavior. So here's the thing: if you were able to help him, you would find the compassion and think, my brother is overwhelmed. Let me try to be kind and patient with him. But for the fact that you are being mentally harmed by him, it means that you're overwhelmed by it. So you're not in a place to be able to help him just yet. I hope it makes sense. Is it what you meant, Kay? Sergeant, hey dude, hello dude, Sergeant Pumpkin. Oh, sorry, I don't get defensive. I mean, some people that I talk to, for example, with my father who asks for advice, he thinks he's heard, but it's very obvious he hasn't. So be kind if you can. In the very same way that I was talking to Kay about the brother, can you be kind to your dad? Can you find in you that? If you can, it's the best option. Say to him, yes, you've heard, whatever, hallelujah, I'm so happy for you, right? But if it's annoying you, if you have to say something, it means that you still have a chip on your shoulder. And that could be understandable because, again, families, a lot of unheard resentment, old scars that are still there, but are not heard. And so if that's the case, then it means that you're not ready to, what was it? To do anything about it. What is your relationship with your dad? What is your aim? What is your intention? If you can tell me that, please, Pumpkin Puff. Kay Stevens, children who are very disrespectful and want to be the boss in my experience. All right, okay. So now we need to understand about psychology. When people are disrespectful, it's because of their upbringing. It's because of their parents. It's because of their role models. It's not because of them. Children are just reacting in whichever way the environment have taught them to react like. And so if they're disrespectful, there are ways to deal with those kids. Who are they? And I can absolutely address each case, but we need to realize that they are children and the way they behave is a result of their upbringing and environment. So it's not their fault. They're not trying to be disrespectful on purpose. It's the only way they knew how to be seen, to be heard, how to express themselves, how to feel safe. Whatever we do, it's always originally for us to feel better about ourselves. And so when kids are behaving in certain ways that are frowned upon in society, it's because it's the only way they know how to behave based on X, Y, Z, right? So let me read it again. Children who are very disrespectful and want to be the boss, in my experience, never got dealt with during the temper tantrum phase. I would not agree with that. If they're not being dealt with, you don't deal with kids. You teach them, you show them, you support them, you encourage them, as opposed to punishing, discipline. I know I'm not trying to go against you, but it's very important to realize that we are all being conditioned in the system to focus on our external reward. I talked about it one time in the past. The stick or the carrot, praise or punishment. And so because of that, we look outside and we don't realize that the best way, the only way really for people to develop in a happy and positive way is to look inside, internal reward. So when it comes to kids, instead of punishing them, we want to understand that they are pure creatures of energy and they're going to react and respond to your own energy as an adult. So if I have to deal with a child that is very abusive all over the place, I will talk to that child and I will have a level of patience that is going to be more than for any other kids, because the kid needs to feel safe in the presence of the adult. Until he does, he's going to still react in the only way makes him feel safe. Never got dealt with during the temper tantrum phase. It's not being dealt. We do this because this is what we have been taught. So I can see that you think that because you may have been raised like that, and it's not like we don't want to do this anymore. You want to learn how to practice positive encouragement. And there's a lot of ways to do this. It's possible. Now it's difficult with kids who are very difficult if we don't understand this. But we don't want to deal with their temper tantrum phase. Some of them may be on the spectrum. A lot of kids suffer from the adult because no one knows that they have ADHD or they're on the autism spectrum, for instance. So adults assume that they're doing it on purpose, and kids are just genuinely freaking out, trying to please everyone. They're doing the best, but nothing makes sense to them. Did not learn empathy, shows up in later years in some. So yes, empathy is a skill that we learn, indeed. It's true. I would agree with that. But it's the thing, if we are on a survival mode, it's going to be much harder for us to develop empathy. And I know this because that was my story as well. I mean, I know it from my point of view. It took me a lot of time to learn how to be empathic because I was constantly protecting, reacting, counter-attacking, and I never chose that behavior. Pumpkin Puff, he is completely unaware of the damage he caused me, but I'm still healing from myself, but I can't understand that he was also a victim of his own parents. So yes, so he is unaware because he's dealing with his problems, he's overwhelmed. Don't expect him to realize anything. Work on yours, and eventually if you have healed to the point of being able to help him, then help him. Right? Very often I want to help people, and the analogy that I always use is Titanic. Leo DiCaprio trying to get on the raft, and Kate is going, get off, it's crowded, it's fully booked. And this is the thing, if we're still struggling on a raft, we can't help anyone, otherwise we get to end up in the water every single time. We want to spend time building a bigger raft, a boat, a yacht, and then we can invite everyone and help everyone and save everyone. Joshua Brown, message retracted. HSL, how to stop YouTube addiction. You want to find out why you need an addiction in the first place. YouTube is not addictive. Nothing is inherently addictive. When we get addicted, it's because we have a propensity, a need for addiction. And so there's a part of you maybe that is not happy with your life. And so it's a way for you to distract yourself away from that unsettling feeling that is always lingering. It may be some limiting belief that gets yourself to hate yourself. It may be some anxiety, stress, trauma that are inherent. It could be anything at all. But when we're addicted, it's because we need something to feel better about ourselves. It's not that we are weak. It's that we are hurt. We are hypersensitive to life because of what happened to us, whatever belief we have developed based on our history. And yeah. And so how do you stop YouTube addiction? You want to address why you need an addiction. Because if I change the addiction, just the habit of action, you may stop YouTube, but then you're going to start TikTok instead or something else. That's often what I say. If you change only the habit of actions, but not the habit of thoughts and emotions, then you're just going to choose a different addiction. Some people who are addicted to food, they may replace it with being addicted to the gym. Some people who are addicted to alcohol, they may stop alcohol, but then they start drugs instead. And so it's really about changing our behavior, as in, why do I need to escape my own body? Why am I not happy with myself and the way that I feel and the thoughts that I have? But if you want to stop YouTube addiction, just YouTube, and you don't mind doing something else, then I don't know, hide your phone, your device away, put a lock on it. But that will be only addressing the habit of action. Yeah. Does that help in any way? Do you want to ask me more? HSL? Pumpkin Puff. Oh, I will write that down. Helped, hugged, or heard. I love that. Fantastic. Thank you. Yeah, do you want to be hugged? Do you want a hug? Do you want to be heard? Or do you want some help? Kay Stevens, I hear you loud and clear, Didi. Thank you. And would invite you over for a southern meal of fruits, veggies, and pound cake. But you live in another country. I think you are wonderful. Thank you so much, Kay. Thank you. Yeah. It's not easy. People are complicated. And life makes it harder because we believe certain things about ourselves and others. But if you could realize that we are all the same, as in the way we are meant to process things, the system itself is the same. The only difference is our environment and the belief that we're going to have. And so what I mean is that to heal and to find connection with people, all we need to do is to learn how to expand our mind and start to see things from their perspective, instead of still seeing things from our perspective. Why are they behaving like that? Why are they doing this to me? What's wrong with them? Instead of, why did I react like that to them? And then, what got them to say this to me? Maybe something happened to them. Instead of reacting and judging, we will do this. But this is the journey of self-awareness and healing. Thank you, Kay. Fadel Omar, 5 head, that hairline is cooked, my guy. I don't know what it means. What does it mean it's cooked? Is it positive or negative comment? I don't understand. Cooked. Is it good or bad? I know that the new expressions like it's fire. And I had to learn that fire is good. Because otherwise we don't know. Fire can burn, can be bad. And so it's cooked. Is it a nice or negative comment? Can you tell me, please? Amy 999. Hi. Hello, Amy. Fadel Omar. Everybody on YouTube is suddenly a life coach. Ah, right. Okay. I'm not suddenly a life coach. So this is a serious page. I'm here to help people. If you don't need help, you're more than welcome to surf on other channels. But please don't pollute my channel with some comment like that. Be kind. I'm here to help people. If I'm going to see any more comment, I'm just going to get rid of you. And it would be a shame because you could ask me questions. I could help you. Amy, Chinese people cause amazing life coach. I'm not sure about this. I know a lot of Chinese people who are terrible coaches, terrible, very self-righteous, self-centered kind of people. There's also, all I'm trying to say is that maybe in your experience, Chinese people are like wise people from the Eastern, and I appreciate that. I think it's a kind to have, but it's not true. There are people with good intention and people with bad intention in every ethnicity. But thank you anyway. I take this as a compliment, as an attempt for saying something kind. And so that's nice. Amy, better than other countries' fake life coaches. Fadel Omar, I'm sorry, I just don't trust. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of you now, all right? I wish you the best. And we're going to ignore Fadel Omar. And that's it. Okay, this user's message will be hidden. So whatever you have written is gone. And let's move on. Vivek Gaming, hello. Kay Stevens, yes, Didi. He doesn't seem to get along with anyone in his 60s. Diagnosed with schizophrenia and BPDE since teen years. Okay, challenging, but your advice is very appreciated and comforting. Okay, all right, okay, thanks a lot. If he's in 60s, and he's got schizophrenia and BPD that have not been addressed at the age of 60, then yeah, it is going to be difficult. Your brother is different. Don't expect him anything. Whatever he says, take it with a pinch of salt. Don't believe what he says to you. Don't take it to heart. He's got schizophrenia. He's got borderline personality disorder. Because of my BPD, I used to be horrible to people, like really, really bad, like yeah, as terrible. And there's nothing I could do about it, and I hated myself. And so, see your brother like someone who suffers, and says things just out of habit because he feels unsafe, but don't take it to heart. That's my advice. Work on that. And I know that it's not easy, but that's what you want to do. We suffer because we expect for people to behave in a certain way. And if it hasn't happened by now, it's never going to happen. Especially if someone has conditions such as schizophrenia and BPD. Pumpkin puff. It's a big mixing pot with my father. I can be nice, but there are a lot of negativity that still resides in my soul that I've struggled with for a very, very long time that I have to navigate, okay? Life is a journey. Take it one baby step at a time. Focus on your priority. Don't try to fix everything right here and now. Yeah. Pumpkin puff basically treated me like how his father treated him, yes, and turned me into his worker bee. We had fights, left us for a decade. Now that I'm adult, he acts like we're close. I'm emotionally distant. Okay, you're doing the right thing. Do whatever feels right for you. Pumpkin puff. It affects my current marriage, the damage that he did. I try to not act like him, but with my BPD and other conditions, it's a lot to manage. So sorry for all the messages. Don't be sorry at all. That's what I'm here for. And so again, remember, if you have BPD, get your BPD sorted. It's possible to change. Until you do this, it's going to be a constant worry that it may affect your perception of reality and your overreactions. This is what BPD does. It's not only one condition, but with BPD, we experience a reality that is distorted. Everyone is nasty. Everyone is trying to hurt us on purpose. They know it. They don't get on purpose. And because of that interpretation of reality, we feel worse. We have to do something about it, right? And so, yes, address your BPD. Keep coming. Ask me questions. We can talk about it if you want. Subject revision. Jesus loves you. Another one. Are you a Jehovah's Witness? I came to the realization yesterday that all people who say Jesus loves you are potentially Jehovah's Witness. I don't see any other reasons as to why. Jehovah's Witness are conditioned to try to enroll as many people as they can in their cult. And so, if you can answer me, do you believe in the Elohims, those sort of things? Do you believe that we are the other worldly people and God has killed us anyway? So I've read, there's a guy on TikTok that I discovered yesterday, and he's an ex-Jehovah's Witness, and he breaks it down very cleverly, very, very insightful. Kay, thank you, Lily. Thank you, Kay. Pumpkin Puff. Also, your laugh always puts a smile on my face. You are like a ray of sunshine. Fantastic. Thank you. I like this. It's me transmitting my energy of joy through the wonders of the internet to where you are. I'm going to have a cup of coffee. Just bear with me, please. Subject revision. I'm a Catholic. All right, okay. So why are you telling me that Jesus loved me? We don't know each other. You're not saying, hello, my name is subject revision. Would you like to talk about God? All you're doing is, Jesus loves you. Do you realize how it comes across? It's not nice, is it? Did you ask me if I want to have a conversation with you? Subject revision, but mainly it is about following Jesus Christ. But I don't want to follow Jesus Christ. I'm not talking about this. I love Jesus, but I also love Allah. I love Buddha. I love Krishna. I love Ganesha. I love Zeus, Odin. I love the spaghetti monster. I love the unicorns. I love them all. What are you telling me about Jesus? Ask yourself that. I believe that people who are obsessed with that, they have some mental conditions, or they've been brainwashed to talk about it all the time. It's not healthy. It's not healthy at all, right? I don't mind talking about it if you introduce yourself, you do it in the right way, at the right time, but not like that, right? Tired as fox. How do you deal with imposter syndrome? Okay. So when we have imposter syndrome, we believe that we are not good enough. We believe that we're not good enough for the task, and that people are lurking in the back, waiting to reveal us to the world. And so, what do you have imposter syndrome about? Can you tell me more about it, please? Is it about something specific? Is it about a job position? Is it about? Could you tell me more about it so that I can get the flow going? But imposter syndrome is just a belief that we're not good enough and that people are going to trip us and basically tell everyone how inadequate we are to that thing. So we want to change that belief. We want to remember maybe why do I believe that about myself? And we want to challenge that thought. So what are the thoughts that you have when you experience the imposter syndrome that gets you to say this? Is it the thought I'm not good enough for that to do that thing? Because you can challenge that thought. You can tell yourself, okay, now I'm going to reset how I feel. First, I'm going to do some breathing so that I'm no longer in a state of overthinking, stress, and anxiety. I want to regain my state of mental clarity. So you can do it through mindful breathing. And eventually, when you are there, then you can challenge the thought. Is it true that I'm not good enough to do that? Is it true that everyone can do it? They're all better than me, but not me? No, no one has got it all sorted. Everyone is learning, everyone is growing, and so am I. And so accept, this is what I know at this point in time, and I'm going to learn and get better. And if I don't get it right, it's also okay. Be honest with people. Tell them, I'm going to do my best, instead of promising them it's going to be perfect. That will help you with your imposter syndrome as well. I don't know if that's what you're doing. I'm just trying to say something based on a very generic question. Tell me more about yourself, please. Tired as fox. Subject revision. I'm a Christian. Okay. Same thing. So why would you? I know a lot of people who are Christians, and they don't go Jesus loves you all the time. I know a lot of people who are Buddhist, and they don't go Buddha loves you. I know a lot of people who are Muslims, and they don't go Allah loves you. We talk about things, and sort of this can be a conversation. But why do you feel that you have to come into people's strangers' face like that? Ask yourself this. Right? It's not healthy. Gabrielle, what is the role of suffering in life? Is it a necessary part of the human condition? Yes, absolutely. Everything about our life is part of it. And so we are here to experience the human condition, the human adventure, the story of us, the story of our life in this reality, in this dimension. And so suffering is part of it. Suffering creates contrast. Everything in the universe is relative to something. So another way to explain this is that nothing exists without its counterpart. It's the yin and the yang. And so for light to exist, there needs to be darkness and vice versa. For everything, there are two opposite forces that create that energy, that creates movement. Movement is life. And so the example that I often give is if you look at the battery, electricity, you get positive and negative. Positive is not better than negative, but just needed. And so what it means is that in our human experience, if we never suffer, we're not going to know the value of the good things in life. It creates contrast. It offers us a frame of reference. And again, what I often say is that until we are sick, we never realize how good it is to be healthy, right? Healthy means nothing. We take it for granted. But when we are ill, if we break a leg, the moment we can walk again, we're like, hallelujah, gosh, it's amazing to be healthy. Unless we have been heartbroken, we don't know the value of love. Unless we have suffered in any way, we don't know how good it is not to suffer anymore. And so in that sense, suffering is useful. But to a certain extent, if we spend our life suffering, then we're not experiencing the other side of the equation. And so we must realize that it's only there to teach us something. And so the way that I explain it is that in the middle there's a line, and that's the line of inner peace, safety. Underneath we have all the unpleasant emotions and states. Pain, fear, anxiety, anger, resentment, jealousy, and all those things. On the top we have the good stuff: happiness, joy, love, gratitude, creation, excitement. And we are going to fluctuate all throughout life like that. And so once we know that this exists, we want to spend more time here, right? As opposed to here and every now and then. But because this is it. Even if we suffer, we never suffer all the time. There's always going to be some contrast, because life is about contrast. And so if we realize that there's such thing, we want to learn how to spend more time in that portion. And every now and then we're going to dip our toe in the pool of misery to remind ourselves of how lucky it is to go back up there. And so suffering is important in that respect. But we don't want to spend our life there, because there's so much stuff to enjoy there. And also, if we don't suffer, that'd be hell. If you never had any pain, any problem, you wouldn't know the value of what you have, and you'll be bored to death. There's a very good story about this. It's an exaggerated story, but basically there's a guy who ends up in the afterlife, and there's an angel that gets him and shows him hell. And hell looks like heaven, because nothing is happening, everyone is peaceful. And then we go and visit heaven, and heaven looks like hell. And the guy is confused. And the angel is basically telling him, in hell there's contrast. So whenever you get hurt, when it stops, you feel better. In heaven, nothing is happening. So people get bored to death. They don't know the value of the goodness. There's nothing happening. And this is actually more hellish than going through contrast. I hope it makes sense. Pumpkin puff. When I get into the negative thought hole, I don't know how to get out without taking time, but I can also just sieve in thought. I can't always process my feelings. It's a process, it takes time. It's about learning how to understand your body, as in emotions and feelings, understand your thoughts, and learning how to think about your thought. Recognize that you are not the experience of thought. You are the person that is thinking the thought. So if you do that, then you can create a space between you and your own thought, and you can challenge them more and more as you are developing that skill better. So yeah, it takes time. Accept that it takes time. Accept that you are getting better. Accept that every day you get to learn something new that will help you becoming better at this. Life is a journey, it's not a destination. And so we never arrive as far as that is concerned. We arrive when we understand that we never arrive. And so now we are able to, again, go through that ups and down situation, and it's okay. Because if we zoom out with the right mindset, we're not going like that. We're going like that. This is how I explain it to people. Subject revision to spread the good news. This is very self-centered what you're doing. I know that in your heart you come from a good place. But for some other people, it's not good news at all. Some people have been traumatized by religion. A lot of my clients have been traumatized. Cult or self-righteous parents who were horrible to them because they had to please God and everyone instead of looking after the kids' happiness and self-growth. And so it's not good news to a lot of people. And I know that you don't mean that, but realize this. What feels good to you may not be for others. And this is where empathy is so important. If you believe in Jesus, this is what Jesus teaches. Empathy, compassion. Put ourselves into other people's shoes as opposed to trying to tell them what is right or wrong. Right? Hope it makes sense. Joe, great job. Keep it up. Okay. Thank you, Joe. Tadas Fox. I have ADHD. I was diagnosed with ADHD. I just feel as though I'm just distracted and not actually dealing with ADHD. I feel like I use it more as an excuse in my day-to-day life. You're not using it as an excuse. This is what people are trying to get you to believe. They're gaslighting you. It's just an excuse. You're not trying hard enough. You're just lazy. And they don't understand ADHD. If you have been diagnosed, it means that your brain is different because of your genes and because of your upbringing as well. And so you don't choose that. But you have some limitations and some qualities that others don't. You're just different, right? I have ADHD myself, and I know my power because I know my limitations, and I know how to organize a life that's going to be more adequate to the type of brain that I have. And this is what you want to do as well. If you are not dealing with ADHD, it's because you're overwhelmed. It's because people are pressurizing you too much. And so hang out with the right people and learn about yourself so that you can take the right actions, change some habit in your life. For the fact that you say, I feel like I use it more like an excuse, to me, it echoes some of the things that people may have told you. The only reason we say those things and we think those things about ourselves is because this is what we have been told by our parents, by our teachers, by society, and it's just wrong. If you want, we can talk about ADHD. But the first thing you want to do is to really realize that you are different, and whatever guilt or shame or anxiety that have, or depression that you may have developed because of your ADHD, it was never because of the ADHD. It's because of the people. It's because society was not kind to you. They didn't understand. So they told you, don't be so selfish, don't be so lazy, don't be so stupid. Yeah. We don't suffer from ADHD. We suffer from society who doesn't understand this. A kinder society would be a society that accommodates everyone with all the differences and the different qualities and talent. Gabriel, wow, thank you so much for your response. Lots of food for thought. Fantastic. Thank you, Gabriel. Pumpkin Puff, I am striving for control if I'm just trying to fix myself quickly and not actually healing. So control is your enemy. You don't want to control anything. Control is the reason we suffer. If you have BPD, don't try to control yourself. Learn how to have a better relationship with your emotions, with your body. Learn how to understand instead of controlling. We're being taught, society teaches us to control yourself, control your emotions, and it's the opposite of what you should be doing. We should be in touch with our body, we should understand why this is happening and know how to process those emotions and states when it happens. And after that, learn how to upgrade the triggers to those reactions. Gabriel, what's my responsibility when it comes to the suffering imposed on others, consciously or unconsciously? You don't have any responsibility. Your responsibility, if you ever had any, was to learn how to find out who you are and how to let go of your own baggage. And as you do this, you will become a better person, as in a happier person. And if you're happier, if you're more balanced, less hurt, then your interactions will be more positive to anyone in your life. It's that simple. You don't want to be a people pleaser. You don't want to be a good person. A lot of people, they do things to others because they want to please others, because they believe that otherwise they're going to end up in hell. They are bad. They're going to be rejected by the community, by the tribe. And it's not what we should be doing. We must learn to do things. If you want to be good to others, do it out of love, out of kindness. If you can't be kind to others, keep away from people for now, work on yourself, and find a way to let go of your triggers. But you don't need to worry about others, because the way you are will transpire in all of your relationships with others. And so instead of looking at your behavior, look at how you see the world, and try to see the beauty and the kindness and the goodness in you. And if you can do this, you will be seeing it in others, and it's going to be easy for you to be kind to them. You don't have a responsibility. You only have a life that is about you figuring out who you are and how to move away from whatever baggage you have had from your start in life. Because here's the thing, once you are healed, then you will want to heal others. Once you are happy, you will want to make others happy. People who are miserable and horrible to others, they're only so because they are hurt. And so they are carrying that energy inside of them, and the only way they know how to behave with others is through hurt. And I know this because I used to be that. I hurt a lot of people in my past. And but that's not because I chose it. It's because I didn't know any better. And this is what I always say. If I knew how to be connecting with people through love and kindness, I would have. But I didn't have love or kindness And so I didn't know what it was. We can only give what we own. Um, and so and so just work on yourself, and as you are becoming more balanced, you have more peace within you, you will automatically, whether you want it or not, be a positive influence to the people in your life. But let go of the idea of responsibility. This is more pressure. You have to do this, otherwise you're not enough. And we want to all let go of that. You want to trust that we have enough goodness within us to be good to others. But for this to happen, we need to address our own hurt. A lot of people use that as a trope to convince people to join their religion. Without religion, there will be no morality. It's not true. We all have morality within us. It's just that some of us have some mental conditions, psychopath, sociopath, and science and intelligence can help us help those people and see them. But everyone else, if we're happy, everyone will be good. It's on human nature, right? Apart of those exceptions. So we don't need religion to teach us morality. We are born with it. It's like an intuition. We don't want to underestimate our human potential. Pumpkin puff. I like to think that I'm trying really hard, but a lot of the time it feels like I'm lying to myself that I'm even capable of healing. It's your journey. We can talk about it if you want, but you're on that journey, and everything that you're going through is part of the process. Once you heal, if you heal, it will all make sense to you. Until you do, you're going to feel that, I can't do this, it's rubbish, it doesn't work, because it's a part of the process. Again, remember, suffering, everything is about contrast. And so hardship maybe is part of your journey as far as healing is concerned. But also because you have to undo a lifetime of habit. It's simple as that. Whatever you are dealing with, if you have BPD, you had it all your life. So you have a lifetime of habits of thoughts, habits of emotions, habits of reactions, habits of seeing the world under a certain light. Pumpkin puff. So I read that already. Thank you for the heart. K, in regards to ADHD, thanks to the library of the internet, we finally get help understanding. We didn't have help then, but we do now. Yes, there's more and more to this. Internet, social media, TikTok. TikTok was very, very, I believe, instrumental since the pandemic to raise that awareness to the next level. Now so many people have more awareness of ADHD and other stuff. BPD as well. Bipolar, there's not so many people who talk about it, but BPD and ADHD, a lot of it. CPTSD, people should talk more about this as well. I believe that there's so many people who are undiagnosed. Tadas Fox, thank you. I appreciate you taking the time to help me. It's my pleasure. So I'm here. I'm here every Wednesday and every Friday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. UK time. So if you enjoy this, make sure that you subscribe if you haven't yet, so that you can be notified when I go live next time and continue the conversation with us. Subject revision. Following Jesus is having a relationship with him, and you follow his commands to please him. And the 10 commandments are summed up into the two, which are love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. Yes, so you're telling me about your thing. Fair enough. But everyone is different. Not everyone needs to follow Jesus. If you believe that following Jesus is about doing this, that's your experience of it. Religion is not one thing. There's a lot of different ways to apply religion. I know some people who are very good with their religion. Lovely people, they're creating a lovely community, they support each other. It can be beautiful. And within any religion, it could be Judaism, Islam, Christianism, Buddhism, Hinduism, or any at all. However, there are people who are a little bit obsessed with this. And this is wrong. You tell me, this is my relationship with God or with Jesus. And it's not true. This is your relationship with your tribe. You do this because you need to belong. So you want to expand your tribe. You want to tell everyone, I've got some more people. If you have a relationship with God, it's between you and God. It's no one else's business. I have a relationship with God myself. I'm very, very spiritual. but I never talk about it unless I'm being asked. And even so, I tell people this is what I believe, and I don't care if anyone believes that. If this is my belief, it's between me and God. You have your own belief, and I applaud it, and it's good. But I don't try to force my belief on others, because very mean that I believe that if people don't believe like I, then there's something bad. In other words, people who behave like that, they live in fear. The fear of hell, the fear of whatever, being rejected by their tribe, and it's not healthy. Yeah. I hope it makes sense. Pumpkin Puff. Sorry, I messed up typing. I feel like every time I mess up, I'm not trying hard enough. If I forget to challenge my thoughts, I fail and I feel like a horrible person, but my feelings override my thoughts. Yes, BPD. Just that. It will make you think that if we have conditions like BPD or ADHD as well, or autism or anything like that, and we've been judged instead of being supported when we're young, we get to have a terrible self-image. And that's the result of people telling us, or us believing them, that all the problems is because of us. So shame. The two main, if not the only two things that create all the problems in life, is shame and fear. This is why precisely so many people utilize religions badly. They create fear and shame, and they create a life of mental and emotional imbalance for so many people. And that's without even mentioning the conflict between us and the others, which have shaped the history of humanity since the dawn of it. Gabriel, thank you for helping me see that perspective. I'm glad you appreciate. Thank you, Gabriel. Prince Gobi, I always appreciate seeing your short videos. They're very thoughtful. Thank you so much, Prince Gobi. Thank you. Jesus loves you. Hopefully, hopefully you heard what I said and maybe something happened. I'm not sure. But at least maybe you can see things from my perspective, from other people's perspective. It's great that you love Jesus. But loving Jesus is like loving your private part. It's great that you are proud of it, but you don't have to show it on everyone's face. This is a way to look at it. Pumpkin Puff. So back to the be kind to yourself, because shame does so much damage. Yes, precisely. So it's something that I will keep repeating, and it's something that will take time for you to fully absorb. But you want to be kind to yourself. Whatever we're trying to do, shame will make things worse. And so one type of shame that no one talks about is, I'm not heard. I want to be heard. There's something wrong with me. And the more we do this, the more we hate ourselves, the more shame we're going to cultivate, and the slower we're going to heal. It's going to hold us back. So the first thing you can do is to realize, okay, I didn't choose to be like that. I reacted like that. I overthought. I said the wrong things, but I'm going to be kind to myself. No one does it on purpose. In that moment, I just reacted the only way I knew how to react. And I want to change this, and I'm doing something about it. But I need to accept that I can still love who I am, because there are other parts of me that are good. The part of me that regrets that are good, right? If I didn't care, then that would be not so good. If I was like, F them, I don't care, it's their fault. But if you're able to reflect on it and think, you know what, in that moment I believed that it was their fault, but now I can see that I damaged them and it's not fair on them. Then you can tell yourself, okay, it's not my fault, it's not their fault either, it just happens. Let's try our best to focus on the future as opposed to focusing on what happened. Pumpkin Puff, I appreciate your honesty with how my feelings are just a normal part of BPD. Somehow it makes me feel better understanding that I'm not alone. You're not alone, not at all. Again, thanks to the destigmatization of mental health, more people understand that BPD exists. And there's so many, I see, ever since I've been doing what I'm doing, I can see so many people, and I can see how we are all on the spectrum of something in some capacity. Not everyone is so overwhelmed by it that it's debilitating in their life, but I can really understand how all of our behavior are the result of our upbringing and how our brain has adapted to life. And so if we can understand this, even if someone is not necessarily full on BPD or ADHD, we want to ask ourselves, why is it okay for me to have compassion for people who suffer, but then be judgmental for those who don't have a label and call them selfish, weak, lazy, or stupid? No one is stupid or lazy or selfish. Whatever that we do is always a reflection of whatever happened to us. And so if we can have that level of empathy, then the world will be different. I now, because of what I'm doing, see everyone as potentially having lots of conditions. And that helps me be kinder to them. And that makes such a difference. As opposed to reverting to my old habits and judging people, projecting my own repressed fears and emotions, shame. Fees edit. Hey, do you need a video editor and content strategist by any chance? I'm okay, thank you for your help, but I won't be needing anything, not at this point in time. T. Smith, question. I am stuck in a pattern of homelessness and hopelessness. I prefer to isolate and have severe mental health issues. I just want to be good, thriving. How do I show up for myself? Okay. You're stuck in a pattern of homelessness and hopelessness. You need some professional help. I prefer to isolate and have severe mental health issues. If you say what you prefer, it's only because there's a part of you that doesn't feel safe to change. And so you have to go through that process. Do your best. Stay alive. Do your best. And hopefully at some point, you will expand your mind. You will come across some information that will allow you to take some actions. But you want to seek some professional help. If you say, I prefer to isolate and have severe mental health issues, understand this. There's a comfort in depression. There's a comfort in even anxiety. We get addicted to our internal biochemistry. Our brain wants us to be in a state of normal because normal is safe. So whatever happens to us up to this point is normal. And so it's going to always take us back there. But that includes suffering. So if I've been suffering from anxiety and fear for a long time, it's my normal state. So my brain will want to get me there. And basically, even the fear and anxiety and the panic attack, they're like getting high on drugs. You know, we are thriving on this. It feels terrible. But as far as the brain is concerned, it's the habit. Or depression, it feels safe to be depressed, to be numb or to cry. There's something comforting about it because it's familiar. The mind wants the familiar. And so if you feel that you prefer to have severe mental issues, it's because your mind is trying to tell you it's better for you. But in reality, you want to change. It's just that you're not ready. You're too scared of the unknown, of uncertainty. And it's normal, it's not your fault. So this is self-sabotage, what we have sometimes. And so my advice to you is do your best to stay alive, and whenever you can, seek some professional help. My hair all over the place. What's I doing this? I just washed them and they are quite fluffy, but they're all over the place. Anyway, I just want to be good, thriving. How do I show up for myself? Seek professional help. That's how you show up for yourself. Okay? And if it's hard for you, in the meantime, just stay alive and trust that the universe will help you out and bring some help sometime along your path. If you want to speak more, do, please. I'm more than happy to have a deeper conversation. Although I'm realizing it's 6 minutes to 8 and I'm going to stop at 8 o'clock. But I still have 6 minutes if you want to ask me anything. K, upgrade the old guilt, trip and shame that belonged to the old ways. My mother said my grandfather was set in his ways. I promised myself to not be cynical. It serves no purpose, really. Yes, cynicism is born from insecurity. It's a system, again, to give us an illusion of control, as opposed to being vulnerable and opening ourselves to people and everything else, luck, the universe. Paula, I love your channel and everything that you share. It comes into my life at a great time. Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. T. Smith, thank you. Thank you. Aditya Gupta, can you say meow? I'm not going to ban you because it's not too bad. And also, we're coming to the end of it. But please, I don't know. I hope that you, by the time I read your comment, I hope that you understand the nature and the vibe of that live stream. Pumpkin Puff, thank you, Didi, for all your help today. I will rewatch this when I feel low again. I feel much better after this, though. Thank you so much. So for those who don't know me, thank you for this, Pumpkin. I leave those videos to be rewatched. So it takes typically a few hours. So maybe by tomorrow morning, YouTube will have fully uploaded that live stream and it will be then available to replay on my channel. So subscribe if you haven't yet, and then tomorrow you can go on my live section if you want to watch this again, if you want to retrieve any information that I may have mentioned. It's all there. All my lives since I started YouTube are there. And I do come here every Wednesday and Friday from 6 to 8 p.m. UK time. So there's always another time if you haven't had a chance to ask me anything. Yeah. T. Smith, thank you, sir. You look great. Thank you. Referring to my hair. I look like an old band from the 80s called Flock of Seagulls. Somehow I've got that funny hair like the that musician. 5 minutes, 5 equals 0. I do believe happiness is real. Yes, it is real, of course. Everything is real. Whatever we experience in that moment is real. There's no such thing as another reality than the one that we experience. But we can change and choose a better reality for ourselves if we choose to look at that reality from a different perspective. And so happiness is real indeed. But happiness is not a thing. Happiness is an experience. It's a moment. Gabriel, from that point to T. Smith, I notice fear has also driven my own suffering. Christina, I agree with seeking professional help. However, what we do with the professionals but treat us like we are diagnosis from DSM. So it's not about the professionals, it's about us going on a journey of self-discovery. So the way I talk about it is like that. There's not one thing or one person that will help everyone. It's impossible. There's, however, one system and one person that will be best for you at this point in time in your journey. And it's for you to find out what it is. And so if you come across people who are not helpful, who are making things worse, get rid of them and seek someone else. Eventually, you will find the right person with the right set of tools, with the right emotional connection, with the right human experience that will be able to help you, right? What do we do with professionals that treat us like we're a diagnosis from a DSM? Get rid of them. They're not good. There are a lot of people in my profession that are there for the wrong reason. Any position of power will attract narcissists and psychopath because it's a position of power. People don't realize this. And so the jobs with the more narcissists are typically politicians, but also police officers, lawyers, doctors, and mental health professionals. So it sounds paradoxical, it shouldn't be like that, but that's the way the world is designed. Because when it comes to mental health, or even doctors, people are at their most vulnerable. So they're the best, it is easier to manipulate. And narcissists thrive on that. And so be aware of it. I'm not trying to be negative towards my profession. There are a lot of good people. But because of the nature of the profession, the nature of narcissist, this also happens. And so if a lot of my clients come to me and said to me that those experiences with their therapist, and some were horrible, terrible. I'm like, gosh, they shouldn't be allowed to operate. Some of my clients have been physically, sexually abused by the therapist. And so yeah, because someone is a therapist doesn't mean that they know everything, doesn't mean that they're good, that they come from the right place either. People are just people. I was talking about earlier on how so many of my fellow colleagues are still traumatized and suffer from their own problems, and they're not doing anything to change it. And for me, it's not a right way to do this. We should fix ourselves first before we want to help others. And so yes, Christina, Aditya Gupta, message retracted. 5 minutes, 5 = 0. I think your focus should be external. I'm not sure what are we talking about? Could you clarify yourself, please? Aditya, is that Kali on your wrist? Yes, it is. Well done. It's Kali. Kali, I've got Buddha here. I've got the heart of Jesus. I've got some angels. I've got all sorts. I'm ready. Whoever welcomes me at the gate, I've got a lot of things to show for. Pumpkin Puff, I hope you have a good rest of your evening and weekend. Thank you so much. Same to you. Christina, marvelous. Thank you greatly. Thank you. Jason H, that's awesome. All right, guys. It's 1 minute past 8. I'm going to say my goodbyes slowly. So, guys, again, if you appreciated this, please subscribe if you haven't yet. Because I come live every Wednesdays and Fridays from 6 to 8 p.m. UK time. So you can always come back and we can continue. If you know anyone who needs some help, get them involved so that they can ask me questions directly. And that's it. If you have any ideas for long form content, also let me know because I publish one long form video every week now. And so if you have anything you want me to talk about, I could use that inspiration as well. And finally, if you need any more details about me as a therapist and coach, there's a link on my bio to my website and we can organize a free discovery call sometime. Okay. Jason H, that's awesome. Well, I'm glad I got to catch you before you signed off. I was wondering what your name is. Okay, well, thank you. Didi Khan, please subscribe. Aditya Gupta, I worship her. Okay, fantastic. Well, so do I. She's awesome. Kay Stevens, have a great weekend, Didi, and thank you again. Thank you, guys. I love you all. Take care. Look after yourself and remember to be kind to others if you can. But if you can't, at least do your best to be kind to yourself. All right? Bye now. Caroline, I will write up defensiveness Wednesdays and Fridays as days you're here. Thanks, you Didi. Thank you, Didi, and we'll see you on the next live. Have a good evening. Thank you. See you next, guys. Love you all. Jason, Didi Khan. Yes. Bye.